Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on, I would say, one of the most popular or frequent or reoccurring or common experiences in the viewership when it comes to understanding and working through a relationship with a narcissist. And that is really the struggle of living an authentic life and being in touch with and knowing one's life purpose. There comes a time in a relationship with a narcissist or a covert narcissist when the subconscious brain has to make a decision, basically, and that is to switch over into fight or flight. And that means, in other words, to adapt to the fear of being without this person or without their love. It becomes a real cross bridge or a crossroads with which a decision is then made to adapt or die, to take care of or starve, to take care of or be at a loss, to have nothing, or to feel like nobody. In other words, for some reason, this person has such a definitive or defining aspect on the other individual, such that they don't really know themselves or have a sense of security to return home to. In other words, there's not a paralyzing jealousy or a feeling of emptiness or feeling of loss of self-control that tends to reoccur for those individuals who have had to be or have chosen or unconsciously chosen or found themselves in a relationship with a covert narcissist, or a psychopath for that matter. And that is that of having to adapt and take on their needs as their own. In other words, a hollowing out of oneself to take care of the needs of this other individual, to constantly put them first, to make their opinions better, their sense of humor brighter, their way of life more superior because they command it, and not only they command it, but they demand it. In other words, a narcissist has such a sense of superiority about their self-importance. In other words, it's their way or the highway. It is only their perspective that matters, or really all that you can end up seeing when you're in a relationship with them. In other words, it's all you can see is life through their eyes. You can't see life through your own eyes, because of their superiority with which they present or unconsciously expect adherence to. In other words, well, of course, this, of course that. I mean, there is no room for discussion. There is no room for error on their part, but there's plenty of room for error on the part of others. In other words, everything else can be pointed out as how inferior it is, and how, awful, horrible a person is, or thing that they did, etc. And so oftentimes, if you have found yourself, or you have been ensnared or caught up, or embedded or enmeshed in this relationship with this type of person, oftentimes people will go through much of their time not knowing really who they are or their own life purpose or what makes them happy, because it's so suppressed in the relationship. It's not allowed to be. You can't coexist. Oftentimes your needs cannot coexist with a narcissist. It's just like, this town ain't big enough for both of us. It's me and me, honey. You can be like mini me. I mean, it's just like that, I can't think of the name of the movie right now. It'll come to me, or a viewer will put it, but Austin Powers, mini me. And it's just, I mean, that's kind of like what the narcissist they want. They don't want someone who's just of a common feather. They want like a mini me, someone who will just constantly be like them, but you can't be an authentic self. You have to be like a mini narcissist. And oftentimes people have asked, I feel like I'm becoming a narcissist by hanging out with this person. Can this happen? Well, you can, by osmosis, or really by being together, you end up responding with force to be their counterforce, or rather the other way around. You end up being a counterforce to their force. So you end up having to adapt and over adjust in the relationship to accommodate their high ego needs. It's like a big balloon. If you don't validate them, they're going to pop, and then there goes the relationship. And so it is very annoying, I would say, for those people once they discover that has what has occurred, and then how to recover a sense of purpose, a sense of self, a sense of, knowing where they stand, or really how to begin again, because they feel so depleted, so exhausted, so invalidated that they can't, go on. They don't know, who they are, what they're interested in, or even if, it's right to even have interest, if it's even right to have a life. They feel so dehumanized. It's like they have, an amnesia, of how to live. It's just they've hallowed so much, they've made so much self-sacrifice of their time, their energy, etc. And their role, their identity is fused with this person. In other words, it is so dependent, or it's like some people might call it a twin flame. In other words, the relationship might have, had a really good run, and it could have been like your twin flame. In other words, they were holding up, and showing part of you which you didn't want to see, and then you were working on, but then eventually, the devalue and the discard. And so, really then that is your goal, that is your challenge, that is your objective, and that is what's, really your priority then, is to have an authentic self, to be able to be yourself in relationships, and not being afraid of reprise, afraid of the slap across the face, afraid of a criticism looming and launching at you, the dirty looks, the slam of the door, the comment of, why did you do this to the dinner? Why did you do this to the coffee? Why did you do this to the front lawn? Why did you do this to the garage? I mean, you can't fix this. You can't do that. You can't walk right. You can't slam a door shut right. It's just, you can't close a door. You can't leave a door open. I mean, no matter what you do, there's going to be fault with every single thing. So that is the narcissist. They get annoyed when things aren't just right according to them. And so people end up, walking on eggshells is the term, when they're around, because it's like they're always waiting for that narcissistic rage to explode. They're always waiting for that little pin to pop, and then all of a sudden, here comes the explosion, the rage, or the stonewalling, you are never around. You can't get them out of the basement. You can't get them out of the attic. You can't get them out of the garage. You can't get them out of the store. I mean, whatever it is, you can't get they're just out. They're just checked out. They're just gone. They're not there for you. They are not emotionally available there for you. So that is part of the hardship. And so then part of the solution then is calling forth that authentic life. The I am. I deserve. I am worthy. I am lovable. I am enough. I'm good enough just the way that I am. I don't have to change, to fit the needs of another person. Yes, you do need to be able to be civil, but I'm talking about, of course, societal, propriety, etiquette, etc. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is you can't just extinguish yourself for another. I don't think that's what God, Jesus Christ, your Savior, whatever it is, your religious viewpoints, maybe you're not religious, but I don't think they just want you to shut your life down and live life in misery. I don't think that's what the divine intelligence is calling forth of you. Maybe maybe there are some viewers who think it is, that your life is meant to be misery, drudgery, and to never be happy. I mean, I don't think that that is the main goal. So if you have found yourself in that, then saying, wow, then maybe I am not living in alignment with my divine purpose. Maybe that's why I am so unhappy. This is not meant to be the way that it is. So I need to make some changes. I need to become aware of this, and I need to go, or I need to do something. And, I need to do something else. I need to live an authentic life. I need to be able to read. I need to be able to go to the movies. I need to be able to have friends. I need to be able to laugh. I need to be able to follow up on my fitness, my health. I do deserve to have a friend and be open to relationships that are not violating in nature, that are not negative in nature, that are not, judgmental in nature. Those relationships do exist. And so I seek and implore you to understand that you deserve that authentic life, that respect. And then really to look at going no contact with those people who, who are not supportive, who talk about you behind your back, who create, the sabotaging, etc. I would really highly, sure, everybody's going to say, well, I'm talking on a really intense, pervasive basis. Yeah, someone might say, hey, your handwriting isn't as good as so-and-so. So what? Life is going to go on. But we're talking about, where people are really bad-mouthing you behind your back and then putting on a happy face. In other words, what is genuine? What is authentic? You deserve to be authentic and to be around to our others who are authentic also. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.